Hi again, everybody. It's the same evening. That's why I'm wearing the same clothes. I just got out of the shower, and it's only when I go in these bright lights that I see, oh my gosh, I didn't fully take off my makeup, so I apologize for that. Like I said in my other video, that feels better. Like I said in my other video, I have a very painful shoulder. And so that's why I've got my pajamas on. I was gonna stay dressed and do the video, but I work in a really dirty environment, and on top of that, I needed to put some hot water on my shoulder, just kind of relax those muscles. I have physical therapy in the morning, so I have to get off of here soon. But today. So next week I have another topic, but today I have a couple of exciting things. So I have 108 subscribers. Now, there was one time where I lost a subscriber and then I got another one, and then I lost that subscriber. So it's kind of a bummer. I've gained and lost 2 subscribers in the past, 28 days. But fair enough. I don't know why people like hyperactive social media these days. And YouTube to me is not TikTok. And I just think, I'm sorry. If you guys like TikTok, please just cover your ears. But I do not care for it. I think it's ridiculous. It is, it's distracting to me because it's like too much hyperactivity going on. Too many people are misdiagnosed with ADHD, and I can see why. It's because of TikTok. Anyway, so with that being said, you can unplug your ears now. And don't be mean to me in the comments, okay? Just because I think differently than other people doesn't mean that we have to be mean to each other. We just have to be nice. And the world will work out better that way. So I got a comment, I think it was today, by a person that asked to see to ask me to talk about my Sasquatch experience. And I have a longer one. It's one of the first ones that I did, but it's just about under an hour, or maybe it's an hour and a minute. Sorry, guys, it's a longer one. But the reason why it's longer is because you have to kind of understand the dynamics. Oh, sorry, there's a fly in here. I got to kill it after. I'm a bug killer. I kill them, okay? I don't like bugs in my house. I don't go outside and do parasites, but I love killing bugs in my house. And yes, I do use chemicals. Anyway, we use chemicals to drink. H2O is a chemical. Anyway, so let's go back. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so this person, I don't know if it was a he or a she. So I will say this person asked about my Sasquatch video, and I was like, oh yeah, I have it. If you guys have questions about, after watching that, if you have questions, because I think that some people might get sick and tired of me talking over and over and over about it. But if you guys have questions, I would love to answer questions. So I don't know, maybe one night I'll do like a live and you guys can ask me questions in the feed. Ugh, I hate that fly. It looks like it's going to bite my head off. Okay, that's why I hate it. It looks like a horsefly. It's about this big. No, I'm exaggerating, but it's big and it's going to eat me. Oh my gosh. I should not have said that. Okay, anyway, sorry. I talk about ADHD and here I am like going through, I don't know what it is. I didn't have sugar today, so it's not sugar. It's probably my pain. I can't focus since I've had my, sorry, I look like a cat. No, Oh, that hurt. But since I've been in so much pain, I've had a very difficult time focusing. Sorry. That looked ridiculous. Okay, anyway. So I was thinking that that would be fun, going live, and then, we can all just kind of converse. I would love to interact with you guys in some way, somehow. But after you watch my experience, you can skip over, or you can, do house cleaning, wash the dishes, clean your car while you're listening. You don't have to sit and look at me while you are doing stuff around the house. Because I tell you what, I don't want to watch me for, 20 minutes. Literally, I really don't want to watch me. So that's why I don't watch my videos. Anyway, but I thought that would be fun. So this is, I had a topic in mind. And when this person asked me about that, it inspired me. Because I forgot to mention something to you guys. So, back in March and then in April, I have had 2 dreams about Sasquatch, and they were so darn real. I knew exactly where it was. And it was pretty darn crazy. So, it inspired me to tell you guys about my Sasquatch dreams, because I did not know that this was a thing. Literally, I did not know that it was a thing. But there have been a lot of reports that I have been coming across of people that have either seen Sasquatch or have not seen him, but knew that his presence or her presence was there. Or they've had an interesting experience or encounter. And I'm sorry, I'm using quotations. I don't mean air quotes in a derogatory way. I mean, an encounter that, to me, an encounter can be, you don't have to see him, but you can hear something happening. Or just something strange happens in the woods, that kind of thing. And not always, I get it, not always is it Sasquatch. But then I've also heard of other people that have never seen Sasquatch and have these vivid dreams. And so I'm wondering if any one of you, ow, that hurt. I'm wondering if any of you have had one of these dreams. Whether or not you have seen him. Even though, if anybody has, please reach out to me. I would love to tell your story or read your story or whatever you want on YouTube. I think it would be really interesting. My stories and where I get all of my material might be boring to some people. I gotta say that just because that's the reality. And I think that it would be really cool if people will start writing into me and telling me your story of something. It doesn't have to be Sasquatch. It's anything para-weird. And for what that means to me is, you've heard paranormal. I say anything that happens that's just weird, or anything that's maybe not even weird, like you've, had a good experience with a deceased ancestor that came and visited you, or I don't know, or maybe a cat or a dog that you can feel his or her presence around you. Furry families always come to visit. So anyway, but I'm digressing. So I decided today I wanted to tell you guys about these 2 stories. So the first one, and I've written them down so that I wouldn't forget, but the first one, so my ex-husband, we are still friends. I don't want to say friends, but, for lack of better words, friends, even though I still really adore him. Anyway, my ex-husband and I, we still kind of keep in contact with each other. And I've had some experiences with very spiritual things. And like I've said, I don't know if I've said this before, but he doesn't have a belief in a higher good power. But he does believe that there are jinn. He does believe that there are inexplicable things that have happened to both of us at the same time. And so he can't deny those. So his belief system is kind of interesting, to say the least. But we were talking, and I was telling him about something that was really, really important. And, since we're not married anymore, he's high resistant to not listen to me anyway. Like, girl, we're not married. I'm your friend, but I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to, you're of no consequence to me. Not in a rude way, but just, I get it. But I told him that I really, really wished that one day he doesn't have to believe everything I believe, but all of these, para-weird experiences that he has had, and that I have had, I wish that he would believe me. That's all I said. And for me, I might have to explain another time, but for me, it's undeniable the experiences that he has had that you would go, dude, I mean, duh, like 3 scratches on his back. I watched them appear, and he was out loud going, ow, this hurts. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not touching you, dude, but I'm watching it, and that's just a tiny fragment of a whole bunch of things that has happened to him. So anyway, sorry, I'm trying to get in another comfortable position. So anyway, maybe I should move this. Ow, my shoulder. Okay. So anyway, I had kind of said to myself, well, and I think I maybe have said it to him. I said, I wish that you would actually see what I see, and you can experience it, and then you will finally believe me. And I know that could never possibly happen unless he were more, we know he needs to be more open to it. But anyway, so I kind of said that, and I fell asleep. And when I fell asleep, I was thinking, and I don't know, maybe this is really mean, but I was thinking, I wish I could go back in the mountains and just re-experience Sasquatch, but in a different perspective. And that's a scary thought. But I think some people like me that have seen him, they are like, I've got to see this again. Not that I don't believe, but it's like, it was so surreal that it's like, well, I gotta jump in this rabbit hole, basically. I've got to investigate more on this. I don't know. And I'm not an investigator. I'm not any of that. I'm just this person that saw him, and I literally know nothing. But anyway, so I went to sleep, and this dream that I had was so stinking real. And what it is I was walking up this hiking trail that is in, I'll just say, it's in Utah County. Even though I saw Sasquatch in Weber County, and a little bit into, almost into Cache County in Utah. This is all in Utah. And I was hiking up this old hill that is in Utah County, that is along a mountainside, And when I was a little girl, they used to make movies in this area. And a lot of movies, actually. It's actually, Sundance is up there. So they've made even, Jedediah Johnson up there, even though it was not in Sundance, but it was kind of near there. And I was walking around and I was hiking up this hill, and I felt frozen in my tracks. And I look over to my right and I saw a small creature to my right and up the hill, and it was sitting on a log kind of tree stump. And I looked to my left, and it was though like my now ex-husband and we were still married. Or something like that. And so I looked to my left, and he's there, and he's like, "What is happening?" And and we're all of a sudden like kind of frozen, but super subduedly speaking. And I said, "I think we need to sit right here and wait." And just then, so we were walking up this hill, and there were a lot of caliche. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but it's a type of a thick clay. And it's in a lot of southwestern states. You find it mostly in the desert, and it's that bright red clay, but it can be turned into adobe. There's a lot of pots made out of it, a lot of pottery. It can be made into adobe bricks. It's just this type of clay. And so the road, even though, it's like we live in limestone, but we also live there is just a lot of red sand. Even up here in the northern part of Utah, there's a lot of red sand here. And so we were walking, and we started going up these hills that it looked like, at first it looked like loggers had come, and that the Forest Service was trying to regrow some saplings. And so we're going up this hill, and then to the right, it veered to the right. And then it went to the right, and then it turns up this way, and then it goes up along a side of a larger hill. Because we're in the mountains, we still call them hills. Anyway, and so we're going up this larger hill, and it was more of a 45-degree angle kind of a hill. And then to the right, it was kind of a fork, but the fork went that hurts. But the fork was a wide fork. So the fork to the left went down a hill. And so at the fork, it was a little bit more flattened, so to speak. So we couldn't see what was coming up the hill because we were still a little bit back from the fork, if that makes sense. So then we looked to the far right, and coming down this curvy, not even a real road, but it looks like Forest Service trucks, ATVs can go up there. But we just happened to be walking, and it looks like that something was coming down the hill toward us. And then we look to our left, and we see this, head kind of coming up the hill. And then we realize, holy shnikes, this is horrible. So we decided that we're going to turn around and we're going to walk fast, but we're not going to run. And I told him, don't run, don't run. So we decided to start walking backwards to their face. And then the Sasquatch took like maybe 3 steps and was like within 6 feet from us, like within arm's reach of, well, Sasquatch's arm reach, not ours. And we were so scared, and we just started, as soon as he did that, as soon as he reached out for us, we decided to turn around and just swiftly walk. Well, as we are doing that, the one that was coming down from the right fork was almost at us as well. So both of these creatures were walking in such a way that they came upon us just so quick. Like they had a 15-foot stride or something like that. And I've heard of that before, but I was just like amazed because, I mean, it was just crazy. And so we started walking down, and I told him, don't look behind you. And the reason why I told him that was because I didn't want him to freak out, because I kind of did this, I have a pretty good peripheral vision, and I kind of did this, and I was like, holy crap, like they are on our freaking tails, like on us. Like I think they could have reached out and grabbed us. But the odd thing is that they didn't. And then they made these like rumbling. They didn't make a roar like the kind that was right in my face when I actually saw, but they were making these like as they were walking, but we could hear them, and then we could feel their breath on our necks kind of deal. And so we booked it out of there, and then we went to a car, and it wasn't a car that I've ever seen before, that I've ever owned, but we went to it, and then he drove us away from there, and he was like, oh my gosh, what happened, and we kind of sat there though for like maybe 15 minutes as we were coming back down the canyon, and we were just like, just kind of thinking about what was happening. And it was so strange because some dreams, how they just kind of fade away, and you're like, okay, this dream, it kept on repeating that entire night. Like it kept on a repeat, but it was the same thing over and over and over again. And I just thought, this is really strange. Maybe there's something in there. Maybe there's a detail in there that I need to remember. And so I wrote it down. So then about 3 weeks later, I was at home. I was watching, I think it was on Sasquatch Chronicles, where they had this gentleman from Ireland that had made a video, or made a documentary about the wild men in Ireland or something like that. And then they had like the wild men of Europe. It had to do with the wild men of Ireland, and they went around and they were talking about experiences in Ireland that, this is where this happened, this is where this happened, and it was just really riveting. Like I was just watching this, and I was just like, wow, just really fascinated. And every time I think of my experience, even though I kind of feel like a little shaken sometimes, and I kind of feel a little, I don't want to say scared, but I kind of feel sometimes alone because, there are people that don't believe me, and I really shouldn't care what they think. And it's not that I really care what people think, but for me, how do I put this? I'm an honest person. And so when someone doesn't believe me, or when someone tongue-in-cheek kind of says, oh, ha 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 ha, it kind of, it just kind of, I guess you could say it stings a little bit. And the reason why it does is because you're telling this person something, and you're really honest about it, and this really happened. And it's almost like they don't believe you. And so then you just kind of stop talking about it, because you think, well, what is their reaction going to be? And already, when I saw what I thought was the bear, the first time, I was telling everybody, yeah, I almost got attacked by a bear. But then when I realized that it was Sasquatch, I went through a depression. I think in Strange Familiars with Timothy Renner, I think I mentioned something about that. But I kind of went through this depression, like it was almost as though I had to reprocess the entire experience. And so when I was watching this, I was like, wow, this is just amazing. That I guess Sasquatch, Yeti, Bigfoot, or whatever is in, or Yaya or whatever is in Europe. But of course he would be. He would be everywhere. And the reason why he would be is because there used to be the same animals on the American continent as there was in the European continent. Maybe millions of years ago, but still. And so, you just, like, they have to have, like, bobcats. They probably have mountain lions over there. They're just super uncommon, but I'm sure they do. They have wolves. We have wolves. And so anyway, to me, it just makes sense that they are on that, Sasquatch is on every stinking continent on this planet. Probably there's a different species down in Antarctica, and that is a continent. So, I don't know. I have a lot of stories about that too. But anyway, I'm digressing. So, my second one is when I had been watching, it was late night. I had been watching this wild man in Ireland, documentary. And I was just really fascinated with it. And it just kind of put me in a pause. And so then I fell asleep. And in this dream, so there is a canyon here. It's called Big Cottonwood Canyon. And at the end of Big Cottonwood Canyon, there are, maybe 3 ski resorts. There's Snowbird, Alta, and all of the skiers are screaming at me. Snowbird, Alta, and blast it all. I'm sorry, guys. Anybody that has skied up there, please write it down in the comments, but do it nicely. But anyway, so last summer, at the time I was married, I took my mom, my dad, and my husband up to Altaview. And during a certain time of year, and only for a couple of weeks, there is amazing wildflowers everywhere that are just in bloom. It's just gorgeous. It is just magnificent up there. Well, my dad has been, all of his life has had heart problems. And so he realized into the hike that it was getting a little bit tough for him. So he decided to stay back, and he decided to just kind of, sit and wait for us. And then we carried on, and then my mom decided, you guys go ahead and we will go back to the car. Well, at one part the rain came, but right before the rain it was really kind of silent, and the presence was just interesting, but it's just so gorgeous up there, and it's so serene, and it's they call this area, like Snowbird and Altaview, they call this area the American Alps, because a lot of people from Switzerland came over here and they fell in love with the area because it reminds them of the Alps. Even though, I mean, you just have to come here and see this. Anyway, so in my dream, I was back up there. And there's one part where they call this one side of the mountain the Devil's something, and I can't remember what it is. It's Devil something. And I remember there was a pathway that went to the left, which would be to the east of the mountains, to get to the Devil's anyway, it's the Devil's something. Nothing grows up on that area, which is kind of odd. Anyway, and I had brought my binoculars, and I was looking, and it was like I was kind of like, what am I looking for? Kind of hoping I could see something, but then kind of like, you're out of your mind, Dee. You're out of your mind. And just then, on this Devil's something, it's like a part of a cliff. And like I said, nothing grows on it, but there's stuff that grows around it and over it, but just not on this Devil's whatever it is. And I decided to kind of focus in on that, and I started walking closer. I wanted to get a picture of, this peak, and it was so, 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 so beautiful, and a lot of green down where I was, and then, all these beautiful granite and limestone, rocks that we have here, the Rocky Mountains. And then still snow-capped mountains are always snow-capped at the very, very, very top. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, all of a sudden, through my binoculars, I started seeing what I at first thought was like a huge mountain lion coming down from the Devil's, I can't remember what it is, but it's the Devil's something. And it was coming down. And then it started sliding on the side of the mountain. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think that mountain lion is going to die. Well then, and this is still in my dream. Well then, just then, as soon as I thought that, what I thought was a mountain lion turned into what I thought was a bear. And it was on the hind legs, and it started running down this mountain, and there were kind of rocks and stuff kind of following with it and after it and a little bit before. And then it just seemed like within seconds it was right at the edge of the thicket of this forest, and I was standing in this meadow. And as soon as I saw him stand, and he just stood there, but he ran to me. It felt like he ran to me. And he stood there, and he was the same one that was in my dream. Not in my dream, that I saw, that I thought was the bear. And just then, I kind of scanned the area with my binoculars, and I realized that I was surrounded. I was in this meadow. I was looking to the east, looking at this mountain peak, using binoculars, doing my own thing, and just not realizing my surroundings, and that not only was I alone, but it doesn't get dark in the summertime until about 8:30, 9-ish here in Utah, especially on top of the mountains. And so it felt like it was going on to the dusk time, but not quite yet. So the meadow was completely like a bright green color. The side of the mountain that he had just ran down from was bright pink, because there's really beautiful sunsets here in Utah. And it was a reflection of behind me, which is the west, of, like pinks and purples and all different beautiful colors, that the sun always, shines like this really beautiful colors on these mountains when it's sunset time. And it was standing there. And then, like I said, there was probably about 8 more. So there was about 9 total that were just standing there, and they wanted me to be aware that they were there. It wasn't threatening, but it was a sense of get out, but it wasn't. It was like the one that ran down, the one that I actually saw, that I actually saw a few years ago. It was like, he was like, I know you. Hello, but you still need to leave. And I did the same thing. I walked backwards, went back onto the main path, and I walked down. And I got in my car and I drove away. And I woke up going, I woke up super, super tired. I woke up just like, oh my gosh. It felt like I had been hiking all night, even though I hadn't. It felt like that. So anyway, those are my 2 dreams. If you guys have had any dreams about this or anything, let me know. If you feel compelled to. Everybody would love to hear, I'm trying to make this community. Everybody would love to talk about, your thoughts and feelings on these topics and stuff. So go ahead and converse. I always try to get on almost every day, at least to see the comments. But this past 2 weeks, I just have not had the energy because of my pain. But I'm going to get better, and I will be on here more often. If I'm feeling better, if I'm feeling pretty good by Saturday, I think I'm going to do another one. Side note, oh, sorry, my hand looks so huge. Side note, anybody that's from Utah, like Salt Lake County, Davis County, Weber County, even Utah County, up here in Salt Lake County on this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're doing the Scottish Games. And so, if you guys see me there, say hi. I'm going to try to go. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not going to drive to the fairgrounds. It's at the Utah State Fairgrounds. I'm not going to drive to the fairgrounds. I think what I'm going to do is take the tracks to the fairgrounds, because it's right across it's like a hop, skip, and a jump. And then I'm going to use the tracks so that I don't have to spend any money on parking, and I don't have to be in a wicked amount of parking, because that's just, that's no bueno. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful next couple of days. I hope I see you guys here on the weekend. If I do go, I'll take pictures and stuff and post it up. I think that would be really cool. If I see something really fun or something really cool, I'll keep you guys updated on my little adventure this weekend. Anyway, have a wonderful day. You guys are fabulous. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for being here. I sure love you guys. And I come in peace. I go in peace. Be kind. Be happy. Be grateful that your shoulder doesn't hurt. And just have a wonderful week. Take care, guys. Bye.